Hello world, and welcome to another episode of S.I.S, where your girl is on the move, y'all. Your Bahama mama is taking it down south, where I am officially in Atlanta. This women empowerment series that we're going to be on for S.I.S is taking an international route, and I am here in Atlanta talking to some amazing women. So stay tuned, stay locked, stay loaded, and if I can say in my best ludicrous Lil Jon Jermaine Dupri voice, welcome to Atlanta.
Now repeat. I really wanna get with your style and your techniques and put it on repeat. I'm thinking maybe I could give you something you can repeat and put it.
Hello world, and welcome to another episode of S.I.S. And like we stated in the opening of this show, we are in Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, what better place to be right now? It's so beautiful outside. I love the Georgia air. It's so refreshing, but most of all, I love the people of Atlanta. And we have a very special guest on this show today, and she is the founder of the Village Market Atlanta. She's also a speaker, a community builder. She is a granddaughter, an auntie. She was featured in Essence magazine and Forbes magazine. Can I say this woman is definitely a heavyweight? We have none other than the fantastic Dr. Lakeisha Hallman.
I am so excited and honored to be in your space. I'm such a fan of you.
Oh, that made my day. That made my day. That definitely made my day. Coming from you, Dr. Hallman, you are such a pillar in the Black community when it comes to business. And not only here in Atlanta, but the Village Market is also stretched over 21 states, correct? And also venturing into the Bahamas.
The Bahamas.
So I'm really excited to have you here today. And Dr. Hallman, I have a confession for you. And I have a confession for the viewers out there. I've always tried to make S.I.S as transparent as possible. So I stress out y'all. I am in Atlanta, and I came here on a mission, and that was to take S.I.S international. But sometimes the stress of being an entrepreneur weighs so heavily on you. People can see me here month to month, dress up and makeup on, but the stress level that comes along with just being on your own and everything falls on you. I think that's the part of entrepreneurship a lot of persons don't really highlight. Well, we're gonna highlight it today.
Yes.
And you also have a series, Unstuck.
Yes.
So you can let us know what is Unstuck?
Unstuck, Danielle, is very much how you open your confession. Unstuck is a place where Black entrepreneurs have an opportunity to be safe and vulnerable and transparent about how hard entrepreneurship is and how exhausting it can be and disappointing. Unstuck provides almost a village, insulating Danielles of the world, the Dr. Hallmans of the world, when we reach the plateau and need counsel. I bring in 13 to 14 different amazing leaders in the community to help the Danielles and people like myself get unstuck. So you do not feel alone or disenchanted with your gifts and your dreams. Beyond getting the inspiration that you need, you also get the technical assistance that you need as well. And so I often tell people, I know that Unstuck works when you walk in timid and afraid and exhausted and tired. And at the end of the night, you're like, I cannot believe so many people came to support me.
Yeah. You are looking at Dr. Hallman. The reason why I was so flattered when you said that, you know, he's a fan of...
I am a total fangirl.
Because Dr. Hallman is a world traveler speaking to thousands and hundreds of persons and counseling so many Black businesses. I mean, in this month alone, in 18 days, the Village Market helped Black businesses reach a goal over $1 million pumped into the Black community.
Yes.
So y'all don't understand. Like, I'm on a high right now because Dr. Hallman said that to me. But the crazy thing is, a lot of days I don't feel like I'm hitting like my pinnacles of success. Like some days I'm like, I want to be like Dr. Hallman and I want to just travel the world and speak. But I think sometimes we put, as entrepreneurs, do we sometimes put so much pressure on ourselves due to our expectations? And how can we channel that energy into really, I want to say work, because sometimes when you harbor that energy, you get depressed, and you sometimes feel like you're not good enough and you're not gonna make it. And I remember you had an interview where you mentioned you cried in your car one day.
I did,
and
real tears.
I could definitely relate to that, because I've had not just one day, but many days like that where I've just broken down and cried, because it's like, when is the break coming? So how do we channel that negative energy or that stress from being an entrepreneur?
Well, I will say, I would try to comb through how beautifully you crafted that. So in one point of the conversation, you said, well, how can I be like Dr. Hallman? And yes, I get to travel and speak and do some things that continues to blow my mind. And on the same day, I can experience such heartbreak. On the same day, that ebb and flow of excellence and defeat happens to all of us. And as you assess, I want to get here, Dr. Hallman is also assessing, I want to get here. And that's the humanity in all of us. And so that part doesn't get easier, Danielle. And for any entrepreneur, the bar of excellence keep rising.
Yeah.
And then there's also false comparisons that we're forced to see every day. The thing that we love and loathe at the same time, social media, makes us question our value, question if our work is verified, if it's authentic and good enough. And so I challenge entrepreneurs to channel their time somewhere else. Disconnect from social. Literally assess your own wins. Congratulate yourself before you look to the world of social to do it for you. And after you're good inside, go ahead and post your wins. And what I really strive to do is tell the truth about all of it. How I've had a mountain and a valley in the same day. And how I sometimes look at when all of your homegirls and guys are all exceptional, I think it doesn't matter who the person is. You wonder, do I measure up the same way? And what I've learned to tell myself on those very, very difficult days, I am. And that the finish line and what we're all working towards, how we show up in the world has to be unique. So your wins in entrepreneurship shouldn't look like mine. They must look like Danielle's. And my wins must look like mine. So when we start telling the story, people can see themselves in you and people can see themselves in me, but we're forcing them to see their own identity at the same time.
That was excellent. That was excellent, Dr. Hallman. And moving over into another issue when it comes to having your own business. Can I be honest?
Please.
Can I say what's on my mind?
Spill it.
Okay.
Oh, let me drink some water and let me get ready.
So Dr. Hallman, actually getting persons to put money into your business is so difficult.
It is.
It's so difficult that I was saying I might as well get a sugar daddy. I mean, I might as well. But it's so difficult getting persons to support your business. so difficult getting sponsorships. And it's just so difficult for persons to actually pay the price that you put out there as your brand. Personally, for me as a brand, and going back to you, where I was inspired by something that you said, and it's definitely how I got started. You said you didn't want any investors when you first started the Village Market because they will try to shift your vision. And I can totally agree with that. Sometimes you have to put in the work, and you have to prove to people, you have to force people to see a vision, and then they will come. Did I put that?
You
right?
did. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I have to ask, how do you get persons to respect the work you've already put in, and also how do you monetize your business?
People respect my work because I do. And I know how to talk about what I do well because I know I'm good at it. And when people see that you're very confident in your work and you're anchored in your why, it is hard for them to challenge you to be anything else, because that energy is magnetic. It means that this founder truly knows that he or she has found something, and it's of value to them to learn how to sit across the table with you, not for you to learn how to sit across the table with them. And so when I talked about not striving to get investors, I knew that with any investment, I would have to compromise something. And when I went through my value list, I talked about and thought about, what am I willing to compromise? And at that time, Danielle, nothing. And if I wasn't willing to compromise nothing, it was not time for me to have those conversations. And at the same time, when we're building, and as you are building, and all the other entrepreneurs are building, it is so important to be very clear on what your mission is. And know that it may alter and change some, but your core value, or what you're striving to do for yourself, for your legacy, for your brand, you have to know that so well. Because beyond investment, people are going to invest a lot of opinions in what you're doing. And if they are now giving you money, you've also accepted that they get to challenge you in ways that you may be uncomfortable with, that may alter your mission. But with that being said, I am not against investors. I am against anyone moving too soon when they're not certain on who they are and what they're building. I believe in investing in mentorship and good counsel, and allowing those mentors and those good counsels to help you understand what money to take and what money to walk away from, and have a true valuation of your company. Because we think funding is what we need. And I often challenge entrepreneurs, so if you get $100,000 today, where will it go? And if we pause with how to earmark and allocate those funds, we're not ready for it. And so I always push back to entrepreneurs, is it money that you need, or is it guidance? Because no, I know what I needed. I needed guidance. I needed people who had failed and failed forward. I needed people who had brought investors on and had a horrible experience. So I can know what looks green is not always green. And how you get people to really get on board is when you show up in excellence, and then there's almost a lust for what you created. I ensured that the Village was so shiny and so full of Black excellence. And I would not take my bar down for anyone. So that meant I was tough on entrepreneurs, because I was pushing excellence out of all of us. And when the Village began to get national exposure, and in the heart of a pandemic, people have still been asking me today, well, how can I be a part of this in the heart of a pandemic? It's because I've created something that is so beautiful from the outside, but insulated on the inside. And so look for your investors when you're ready. But I would invest in good counsel and mentorship first.
I think that is very important. A lot of times we get so caught up in the money that we forget that the guidance is definitely needed, and the mentorship, and also what can be birthed out of the mentorship and the guidance is a strong network.
And in that network comes your funding. And it comes funding from people that you've established relationships with.
Agreed.
Yes.
Because even now, sitting here in Atlanta, I'm able to do this show because of the network.
Right, because of the village.
Yes.
Yes, because of the village.
Yes, exactly. And then I got connected with, of course, Marcus.
Yes.
Who is such a great cameraman and has been so patient and so helpful. And very professional, this is a plug for Marcus if you don't know.
That's a plug for someone who is so deserving of that plug.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
Dr. Hallman, it's like, you know how to make people feel like, yeah, you was doing all, I mean, this whole show you was doing it. You finessing it.
Just a little bit.
But the network, even with my sponsors, I don't have a wide range of sponsors yet, but I do have sponsors that believe in my vision, such as Samana Consultancy or BioClean. They believe in my vision and they're not trying to alter my vision. And even now, in days I doubt myself, you said it, I remember my why. And with my research, reading up on you, your why was to ensure that you build a community for Black businesses. And you said you wasn't worried about the money.
Right.
You were, now, Dr. Hallman, can I be honest?
Yes, please. I'm drinking again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Hallman is not worried about the money, but Danielle is, because my why for doing this is to really break through in the entertainment business back in the Bahamas, really open it up more. And there's so much talented Bahamians back home that cannot do this thing full time because the industry is just not lucrative enough at this moment. So I'm willing to be the sacrificial lamb. I have no kids. I have no husband yet. I am free as a bird, so I'd rather take my risk now and see where it leads me, because my number one thing is I don't never want to be 50 and sitting down asking myself, what if? So I definitely want to generate the revenue, and I want to become so full that I'm able to pour out into others.
Yes.
And with your conversation, sometimes even now, your pouring out may not be money, but it's as simple as us sitting here doing this and getting this message to somebody.
Yes. But I want to share, Danielle, not worried about the money. It's not devaluing how important money is. If money is important, that's why I'm striving for entrepreneurs to see the cash flow, to see them be able to scale and hire W-2 employees for the first time, because what we're closing is the wealth gap. And that's the wealth gap that is persistent wherever Black people are. So it's not something native to America. Wherever our people are, there's a persistent wealth gap.
Yeah.
And so for those who control the economy, control. And for us to have economic power and positioning, there must be a flow of money coming through our communities. So what that means, Danielle, yes, you want to be profitable. You want to create generational wealth for your family.
Right.
I want to create generational wealth for my family. When we say that we do not do it for the money, that means what you're doing now. Even when the odds are against me, I'm still going to do my work. Trusting with you being the lamb. We know in the spiritual sense, the Lamb of God is an offering. And when you make an offering, there's something that is met on the other side of that sacrifice, and that's the overflow. And so as you work for the overflow, that overflow is, we hope it's green. And we hope it's not the green that taints you. It's the green that as you get it, then your village will be fed. So do know I believe in, and I'm striving every day to be financially free. I'm striving every day that Black people, when we talk about economical power and the inequities in our country and in your country. I am striving to make sure that Black people, that we own our buying power, our business power, our political power, and put that back in our community.
I love it. I love it. Dr. Hallman, these are almost real tears coming out of my eyes, but it was spiritually needed. Thank you so much for being here on S.I.S. I truly appreciate it. And if I haven't told you before, I will say this. I truly admire you and the work that you do and the time that you put in and the consistency that you display as well. And what you're doing is truly phenomenal. And I do believe that your overflow is right there.
Thank you.
Right there. As it's going to happen so swiftly you wouldn't even recognize it, because what you've done for so much in the community has been tremendous. And thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And you and what you're creating, to have conversations, vulnerable conversations with women about community, about entrepreneurship, about the how-to and the why not. The overflow that is present for me is present for you. So I'm not waiting for it, I'm in it. You're not waiting for it, you're in it. And it's how we talk about where we're in determines the present state in our tomorrow. So you're in your overflow, I'm in my overflow, you're in your overflow. Danielle, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, and can we end on a cheers to that? Yes. Thank you so much for tuning into S.I.S. Hotlanta. Oh, I said Hotlanta. I'm so Atlanta edition.
Hotlanta.
I really wanna get with your style and your techniques and put it on repeat. I'm thinking maybe I could give you something you could replete.